God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
All right. Tim Brown,
Here.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hess.
Here,
All right, we have a quorum.
adopting an order of the day. Question, concerns about the agenda? Adds, anything?
Are there any conflict of interest disclosures?
Yes.
I think they were in there.
We haven't filled.
I haven't,
I think
Just
they
got-
came in.
weren't in the packet.
Yeah, I have to do that. That's my.
No.
Another way for 7 years.
So I know.
Thank you.
Is there a reason they didn't make it to the packet?
We just got them in last minute, from my understanding. So that's your reasoning.
Mr. Watson, you want to do that now then?
Surprise me.
If you're ready for it.
Yep.
That's the reason there's a packet.
We have three disclosures, first of which is
Yeah.
Richard Hill, or from Richard Hill, an annual disclosure.
You have a conflict of interest?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the page, not the front page.
Like, that's-
I was like, that's kind of odd.
I've got all kinds of conflicts though.
Let's try this again. Dale Glick, the governmental entity that he serves on is the Whiteland Parks and Recreation Board. And he is a employee of Commonwealth Engineers. And the entity that he is identifying also related to the potential contracts is the town of Whiteland. And the relationship of the public servant as a contractor is an employee. He's project manager, ongoing on-call contract. Civic financial interest he manages Whiteland developer reviews as requested, manages contract for work structures damaged by the tornado. Date of the public meeting and the name of the governmental entity that accepted the contract, have a March 5, 2018 and March 12, 2025, and it's town of Whiteland. Annual disclosure. And that's it
Oh,
on that one. I would suggest, well, you want me to read them all?
Sure.
Yes. Time, okay.
We'll get him one and done.
Second one is from Lindsay Raker. Job title is firefighter, the fire department, county is Johnson. Describe the good and service purchased, and it's filled in with working with family, and then identifies three family members: Scott Raker, Doug Raker, and Cole Raker. And again, under specific ownership interests, it discloses working with family. An annual disclosure, and it is signed. It's dated January 14, 26. So that's the second one. The third is from Jason Kephart. Title is Fire Marshal for the town of Whiteland. Annual disclosure, the name of the contractor or vendor is Summit Response Group LLC. The description of the contractor purchase is filled in as follows. Owner of Summit Response Group LLC, which conducts training for public safety professionals for a fee. Due to this, then public safety professionals from the town of Whiteland Fire Department and or police department may wish to attend the course and fee could be incurred. These courses can take place throughout the year. This is why the annual disclosure is checked. And then under description of my financial interest, any fees collected for any courses that the town of Whiteland employees may attend, town pays for will go back into the business that I have financial interest in. Each course does have different costs based on the course being attended. Not all courses will be assessed a fee. And this is signed and dated February 9. That's it. It also was a, annual.
So do you have any questions from the council at all? Any questions?
No, I didn't hear anything there that raised any alarm bells for me. It sounds reasonable. Mr. Watson, does that, any interest we should highlight?
No,
Right, well then I would move to accept, all three conflict of interest disclosures.
You have a second?
Second,
The roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
yes,
Brad Godecker.
Yes,
And Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 4-0.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We had two different meetings, so we probably need to vote approval separately.
if there were.
One's a
any differences
finance.
in Who attended, then you should do them separately. If they both were attended by the same folks, then
you do,
it
yes,
doesn't matter.
let's put them
It
together.
looks like everybody was here on both minutes.
You can do them together if you like.
Anybody have any questions about either meeting? No?
to accept, packet minutes for the Board of Finance and the Town Council meeting on January 13th, 2026.
Have a second?
Second,
The roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
yes,
Presidency.
Brad Godecker,
Yes,
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 4-0.
Vice presidency. So,
You're gonna have to second it, Brad, because we're done. FYI.
I'm gonna let her do it.
Okay.
Vice president.
Voucher packet, February 10th, 2026. Questions, concerns about the voucher packet? I have questions as usual, so. Going through this, how come all our salaries for the employees are all negative?
So I believe that has to do with us not having the last year closed out yet and the new budget being brought in. So it's showing that there's available, but it's negative. So I think that's why that.
So typically in uploading the new budget for 2026, what is the time frame on that to where these will become positives and not negative numbers?
So we did get our budget very late, just as of very recently. I know that there is a complete overhaul of everything this year. So it's probably gonna take a minute. Do you have any idea as to how long it might take?
Right now, Carmen and I we have to review it before we can put it in. I know she's had some discrepancies that she has found with the overhaul. And I have to rely a lot on Carmen because I don't have the knowledge of, where these funds are and what the budget is. So I have to rely heavily on Carmen to be able to help me with that process.
So one of the biggest things is they've addressed our, what we call our chart of accounts and our numbering of how we number our appropriation number, fund numbers, revenue numbers. And when Michaela says it's a complete overhaul, it's a complete overhaul. And so each one of the numbers within an appropriation report or appropriation number and or revenue has a purpose. And so it's been, I brought it up and saying, why are we doing that now? This would have been something to work on as we roll into the new year. But again, I've only reviewed the fund numbers and had a bunch of questions just even with that. And then, looking at how are we coding, we still have to pay bills, so we still are using old appropriation numbers. And so it's not ideal, but that is the recommendation that Stone has made for us to help us as we move forward. We hope that one day we will say that, yes, this is all working out exactly the way we need it to, and that we're all in tune with the way our numbering system needs to be. But right now it's very challenging to pay certain bills because we don't even have an appropriation number created for them yet. Now we've got them now, but we still can't pay it because we can't put it into the system because they're all new numbers. So it's going to take some time, which is unfortunate because I don't have a lot of time to go through every single number to question what did they do, why did they do it. Like I said, I just attacked the funded numbers yesterday and probably had a laundry list of 10 different questions as to why it was the way it was. I think I shared that with you, Richard. So
And Carmen, I know, Adam's not here, so,
correct. He had a conflict with
Okay.
meeting. So within his report, he kind of addresses.
so what is his reasoning for changing all these codes, kind of?
It's just supposedly streamline us to where, like, you know, like right now, all of our utilities are sixes, like on the funds, the fund number starts with a 6. Then we have a couple of other things that aren't utility related that are say a pass-through account that still start with a 6. And so it's getting, and all of our should all start with a 4. And we have just some of that numbering is, like I said, I just saw it for the first time. It came through Saturday or Sunday, but to be honest, it was like 10 emails. And I'm like, that is information overload on a weekend. So I waited until yesterday to kind of open it and dive in. And the easiest one to attack was the next time video, start there. But yeah, I've not had a chance to.
Plus you departmentalize too, so that
Correct.
changes things.
Yeah. But my concern is that, you know, say I need to do a look back 5 years from now. So, and Deb remembers this, our fund numbers used to only be 3 digits, then we moved to 4.
Yes, and that wasn't our
Then
choice.
even, you know, that was something that was.
State Board of Accounts.
Yes, and so now it's like, okay, so now if we have to do a look back, depending on how far back we go, sometimes we have to understand and know, oh, in 2017, we only had 3 digits for our fund numbers, and now we have 4. Now here in 2026, some of those funding, and so there has to be that. You either have to have that knowledge base, you know, so for somebody new coming in, it's going to be completely like, how do I find X fund from 2017 and how does that mirror? So I'm not the best one, you know, like I said, everything that he's put in his report is kind of a highlight of high level of what he's been working on, him and his team. But it is a complete overhaul and it's making my eyes go cross.
Okay.
But
Thank you for
hey,
the
I'm
explanation.
trying to be optimistic. It'll all be better in the future and it's going to be easier. So if somebody needs a new appropriation number, we'll know the fund code, we'll know the department code, we'll know the next numbers and it's sailing.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions. Any other questions, Tim, Brad? Yeah.
Then I'll move to accept voucher packet 2010-2026.
Quick
Second that.
roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes,
Pass 4-0.
4-0. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Financial reports or which one's taken?
Guys, I can go through everything or we can just,
Highlights.
yeah. Obviously, everything's kind of all over the place right now. But we don't have, I mean, everything's general. We did receive $35,263.74 of interest through the accumulative accounts from the bank, with the exception of, I was about to say something else, but never mind. Otherwise, I don't think there's really anything out of the ordinary that happened this month.
Okay.
I don't think I've had any.
Guys, any questions? Okay, little.
Nope.
Tim,
No.
Brad, good. Thank you. Special gas or business, old business Stone Municipal Group supplemental agreement.
So Jenny and I had a kind of a calibration meeting with Stone Municipal yesterday on the supplemental agreement. And I know that it was discussed at the last council meeting to provide that 30 days notice to cancel that supplemental agreement. But after I went back and looked at it and trying to get time on Adam's schedule, there's a couple of key things that Stone is doing for us that they're going to need to continue doing for us. Therefore, we're not going to be able to end the supplemental agreement. So the whole intent of the supplemental agreement, just to kind of give you guys a refresher. Well, let me just go back to even the original agreement with Stone Municipal. The items that they said they are helping us with from the very beginning were supposed to be high-level CPA financial, helping us with big capital projects, capital assets, keeping us in compliance with our bond reporting and things of that nature. We needed help at that time with reconciliation, and so they kind of did that for us just to help us get balanced. At a point of around June, we were still relying on Stone Municipal to assist us with reconciliation. The clerk treasurer at the time was unable to do that. And so then the challenge was, let's come up with a standard operating procedure and SOP to help guide her and kind of prompt her to test out the SOP and do the reconciliations on her own. And then that never got tested. And then obviously that person resigned, and then Jenny's come in at the end of October. So Stone has continued to assist us with the reconciliations, providing us our financial reports, keeping us as best they can in compliance with everything that we need to do. So at this point, it's hard to know when the right time will be to have Jenny, I'll call you Julie, Jenny take over the reconciliations. Again, it is not something that Stone Municipal ever wanted to do, but said they would help us out. And then at some point it became like more of a chore for them. And so that's where that supplemental came into play. It's something that, Jenny might be able to kind of provide a little bit more information on. I mean, she's still trying to learn just the clerk treasurer duties. So at this point, on the supplemental agreement, it is not something we can cancel it, but then we're gonna have to figure out how to reconcile our books. Which we have 13 bank accounts. And that was kind of my challenge yesterday is, well, could we pick one account so we can just kind of get our feet wet and test, one, does the SOP work that they put together? And two, one of the smaller accounts that maybe just doesn't have a lot of transactions, just to kind of get Jenny some guidance on that within reconciling within Keystone. So that has, like I said, yesterday was the first day we were able to actually get on a call and do the calibration and kind of revisit that supplemental agreement, and with the understanding that we still need it, which is.
Is the bank recs the only thing you need it for?
Yes, but that's, again, they kind of helped us out in the beginning and weren't getting compensated for that. And then it kind of got to a point where it was like, okay, we've been doing this for you for months. Now it's time for either you to pony up and do it yourselves, or we're going to need to, ask for more money.
Is he current?
I think,
December 2025.
yeah.
Reconciled. Did you see this?
No, I haven't read it yet.
So
I just got it.
were you finished with your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking at
No.
his agreement. So with the rest of what Stone has been working on, you can see that within this monthly update that he provided in budget. Him and his team are working on the annual financial report. I'm working with them on the capital asset update and some different things. And then you can see what their goal is by Q1, what they're planning to do. So, and then I'll let Jenny kind of update you on other items.
Before we go to Miss Jenny, so they're changing our account codes, kind of unaware from our perspective, you ladies' perspective, right? So they're heading that up.
Yes.
So what is their timeline for getting that straight or getting it fixed? Because you can't cut them off.
Right.
If they're changing our account codes and we have no knowledge of what they're doing.
So in his monthly report on the second page, the top one is specifically on that budget appropriation line. We're in the final review stages to ensure everything is ready, and we'll be sharing the final drafts for staff review. That's what I said earlier that I got all the emails on Saturday or Sunday with, here you go, we're ready, and go check it. And then, like I said, I've only tackled the fund numbers, but so. I know,
Um,
it's a hard pill to swallow.
You know, I have a little problem with, and I'm not gonna speak for everybody on the town council, but I have a little problem with the regular everyday employees not being aware of the account change. Then we're on a month to month, which he knows. And now we're gonna have to
So he can
continue.
come to you and say, hey, I feel like these numbers should change.
Not to me, but from what I was told, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but so I had asked for all of now that the budget is approved, 1782 notice has been received.
Right.
Please provide me with an exported spreadsheet of all of what the budget was approved. Because he and I were within like a Google working document, and I just wanted to make sure I had the correct numbers before we just started different things. I had emailed at different times saying, if you need me to take a stab at the new appropriation numbers, and it wasn't until mid-January, probably the end of January, that I found out that, oh, we're revamping, we're overhauling all of your numbers. That was the first to my knowledge. And then it was like, oh, I guess you hadn't been copied on these emails. So that was my first, and I said, well, why are we doing this now? This seems like a
Because you could do it later.
summer or fall type thing. Yeah,
So you're saying no one at the town was notified
I
by,
did not know. I don't know, Jenny.
you guys know?
Again, I'm in a place where I don't know what I don't know, right? And when I'm asked for an appropriation number and I give that to Adam and he's, okay, we're coming up with that. And then I share it with Carmen and say, hey, I still don't have it. I still don't have the budget. That's been going on since early January.
I mean, we have bills that we can't code because they were to be created new appropriation numbers. And I mean, I can't pay a bill. I could pay a bill, but then it'd just be the whole hassle of having to move the money later and what makes sense. So there has been bills that I've held. because-
Well, you could pay it, and as long as it's in the same fund,
I know, but it's,
you remember how we go in and just change the appropriation number?
There's a lot of that that's gonna have to happen.
yeah.
There is
Pay
a
attention
lot
to
of
you,
that
not
that's going to
You
happen.
need to pay a bill, you need to pay a bill.
I mean, the challenge is we're already gonna have pretty much 2 months of
Mhm.
bills that are gonna have to be moved.
Mhm.
And you guys see the size of the voucher packet. And in your guys' voucher packet's the biggest out of the other voucher packets that are produced for the other meetings and that. So again, that wasn't my decision. I didn't.
So he hasn't implemented any of these changes yet.
No.
Okay,
They have not been entered.
so I say you just close the year out as it is and then implement those later, like you said.
I mean, we would love to be able to close out 2025, but we need 2026. We need new appropriation. An example, so in the previous budgets, like the fire department has had 2 lump sum kind of categories for expenditure line items. We wanted to break that out to where it was, it made sense to say, and that's how it used to be when they had their budget. But when we started moving monies into the general fund, we lumped those other services together. Well, we want to make sure that they know, like, they have X for software, they have X for mask testing, they have, we need to have that itemized out. And so those are the new appropriation numbers. I'm like, I can create those. They're not that hard,
Yeah,
and so it's just a matter of like, do we go ahead and do it? Or do we tell them like, that's great, you've put all this work into it, but we've got to put a line in this thing and like, we need to move forward with 2026.
I would just tell her what you want her to put in and just have her put them in. I mean, you can't wait on him.
Right.
I
Well,
would just-
if that's what you guys want as a council, we would just tell them pause on that because it'll give us time to dive in and see what these numbers are. And like I said,
I
but
think you're creating more work for yourself later.
we
We are.
definitely are.
So I think you should just do what you need to do to get the year closed.
Well, I think you need to have a conversation with the gentleman first and lay out the pros and cons, because you don't want to stumble over your 2 feet just because
I'm
whatever.
willing to come in and talk with him.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm willing to come in and talk because I personally have a problem with somebody doing that and causing a bunch of work for you when you're not. And my next question is all the other tasks that he's under contract, are all that completed?
Yes, so there's like.
That's all completed.
Like
The SOP,
Well, the bonds have deadlines.
all some of that?
some of that, some of it from when we had our audit, no.
Okay, so technically we need to button some of this stuff up before we take on a whole nother bigger project.
Right,
Why don't I get with you two and we do a sit down meeting with him
yes.
to kind of say like.
This is what we're gonna
and I'm
do.
fine with like, I mean, we've got to move forward, but again, it's not been in the town manager's role to really come up with the appropriation numbers, but he taught me how, like it's not rocket science. It's just, if you're gonna redo everything, like, I just needed the budget.
I thought it was a clerk treasurer's job to take care of the village.
It is.
So
It
you
is.
shouldn't be dealing with it. She
Well,
should.
But she knows.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying the majority of it needs to be
Yeah.
with her and Adam.
I mean, she can't actually physically do it herself. She has to let Jenny do it, but she needs to.
Saying, but now we're paying two people to do that job and it's her job is what I'm saying. So she either works with Adam and gets that straight. And then, cause we got two ladies down there, what takes care of it very well. They need the ones what work with that. Carmen's got other things to do,
Yes.
other developments. I mean, to me, it seems like a lot of hats being tossed on you what don't need to be. Just my opinion. And I'm only one person, but I think if we got a clerk treasurer and assistant, they're the ones what is going to work with this program more than anybody. I mean, you don't want someone to do someone else's checkbook. You want to take care of it because then you know what money you got into it. If we're saying, Carmen, can you help here? I agree with helping each other, but eventually we're going to have to draw the line. If clerk treasurer is responsible for this, she needs to step up and do it all. She can work with Carmen on some stuff, but there's some stuff she needs to do on her own. And once you learn all this, it'll probably be a smoother process. But you surely got enough to do.
So the fire department used to have separate appropriation numbers for masks and
Yeah.
all that.
Yep.
So just use those.
Well, and that's just it, is that now it's just in a different fund. So again, it's not
Okay.
difficult. It was just more of,
I would use that appropriation number as a guideline with the new fund.
it,
Yeah.
again, it was me trying to delegate.
Yeah.
And ask for somebody else to do that, then, yeah.
Just real quick. So is the council okay if me and Deb get together with Carmen and these ladies over here and
Your own person, I'm good with it. I think
I
you
just-
just
I
need to
mean-
straighten it up.
I mean,
Pull some of it.
I would like to meet before we
Yeah.
Mr.
It,
Adam Stone. That way we have a plan.
It's got enough-
That way I can digest it.
Right.
and read it and understand it before we go meet. But I think everybody, the accounting side of things need to be involved in this meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Will do.
yeah.
Gosh,
I want to add.
face red, because I can feel it.
No, you're fine.
I want to add to the supplemental agreement. I put together quickly today a timeline of clerk treasurer updates for you.
Seen that right here.
Mhm.
I personally do not have complaints regarding the supplemental agreement as it was written. However, I would say my main concern is the bank reconciliations were not put in Keystone from Stone. And the uploads to the State Board of Accounts were not done. So I already talked to Richard, but I do think as far as the supplemental agreement does not include training, number one. The training of me is not on there. That supplemental agreement started in June of 2025. I started in October. So that supplemental was for reconciliations and to aid the clerk treasurer's office to come up to speed. So to get the prior clerk treasurer up to speed with her duties and responsibilities. That did not happen. So basically Adam's group has been taking over and doing a lot of additional work. I personally would like to give the 30-day notice on the supplemental because I can do reconciliations with local government services. Michaela can sit with me and Susie Bass, and both of us can learn while she helps us do the reconciliation process. That's gonna take some time. And it's gonna take our training. It's gonna take money also. That's why I propose that supplemental. He finished the reconciliation for January and February of 2026, since they have been doing that. But we start in March. So we can get the process rolling.
You start with the bank recs and,
Bank recs in March.
okay,
So really, we'll be doing that April. March is the month of March. We will reconcile it in April.
okay.
But to your point, ma'am, so going back to what Carmen has said, so now we have chart of accounts that are magically being changed. You're talking about eliminating the supplemental agreement. We've got to get our heads around this and find out where we're at before we make any decisions on termination or advancing somebody's contract, in my eyes. So my personal opinion, like, we need to pump our brakes. We need to have a conversation collectively, internally, conversation externally with this group, decide where we're at. Then we can come back and put together a plan on when we terminate.
Because he doesn't want to do it. So, I mean,
Well, clearly, but
Yeah.
yeah, we don't want
I
to,
agree.
we don't want to be left high and dry. And
No. Back where we were.
then I'm gonna have a problem. So,
The chart of accounts being changed. I think that was done without our knowledge, without our permission. We haven't done it. The project is done. We have not entered that. Do we go forward and wait to change these in the spring, in the fall?
Yep. You're not going to create you don't need to create a bigger mess than what you
It's
have.
already a mess. Right, I know.
But it'll be a bigger mess.
I know that because I already anticipate the changes, which I already spoke to you. They're asking me to void things that they've already told me how to enter. And now they want me to void it to this new chart of accounts from December.
Yeah.
I can't do
No,
that.
that's crazy.
Brad, you're a finance guy. What do you think? What's your take on this?
I'm not a finance guy. No, I mean, we need to keep going until we get to an outcome that everybody's fine with. The answer is, we have a very capable crew right here. And like, this is where we're gonna end up. And so we have to focus on that and not put, like allow Carmen to, divert attention elsewhere and just, be aware and available. But I mean, like, we want you making decisions. And so like, I mean, Richard and Deb, I think, you guys are gonna meet, just come up with the plan together. Not necessarily in this meeting, but yeah, like, I mean, ideally, I think we all think that they have the expertise, Stone Municipal. Let's do it. And then maybe that, hey, we want to go this route. You all decide, hey, we agree, or, we're going to park that and revisit that in August. And then we're going to, focus on what's the most pressing. I mean, I think the most pressing thing is to get everybody up to speed right here. That's what's going to help us. So like, I mean, let's have that be the focus. We want you making the decisions and doing the stuff. And so like, I mean, I'm glad that we've entered into the agreement with local government services to get you the adequate level of training. Get your head down, like, keep going with this, and like, this will work itself out. But I mean, I think an active decision needs to be made on, like, hey, we're gonna complete this task, we're not. Yeah, I mean, by all means, please have that meeting, together in the next, couple of weeks or something like that, and then let's go from there. But I mean, I think the focus has to be like, complete oversight from the clerk treasurer's office is where everything goes, so.
Debbie, Tim, do you have any other comments on this? No. Okay. We'll coordinate something.
Okay.
All right, glad that's Ellen.
Thank you for the timeline.
Yeah, appreciate you putting that together, ma'am.
I do need it. I have a family emergency.
Okay. Thank you.
Richard's there and.
Carmen, new business, first item on the agenda. Professional service agreement with Westler.
Yeah, so Jesse and I are gonna kind of tag team this, but let me give you a little backstory and then Jesse can help me fill in a little where I look back and I don't know the proper terms because it's sanitary sewer related. So we have had on our capital project list, a project called the Chadlow Relief Project. Which basically we would take out the lift station that is located in the Chadlow subdivision. Perfect. Thank you, Derek. So it would remove the
Green line on this. Thank you.
so the blue is the actual lift station and then the lift station we install a force main along what is called the Brewer ditch, the Brewer legal drain. Gravity, sorry. See, told you.
I was gonna say,
Hey, gravity. Again, you're asking the wrong person. I'm trying, but this is a project that has been on our list for quite a while, pre-tornado. And most of you are familiar, we've had quite a few conversations about our wastewater treatment plant. This is something that is in our PER, our preliminary engineering report that kind of describes the overall kind of wastewater treatment plant expansion, our collection system, and this is part of that improvement. We've been asked by Gradison Development to kind of, could we pull this out as an a la carte project? Because when we approved the Stillwater PUD, which was originally an Arbor Homes project, which is up off of Emerson and Tracy, we told them, yep, we can handle the capacity of what that project would bring. And then Gradison ended up taking over that project from Arbor. And then at that point, Jesse had came into the picture and said, whoa, pump the brakes. If we add this many parcels or this many homes with their additional capacity in that to our system, we're going to have a problem at the Chadlow lift station. Of which I think we've already kind of had some issues at the Chadlow lift station. So anyway, so we've been kind of kicking the can down the road. Gradison has been patient with us. We're trying to find a way. How do we get this project done? Because what ends up happening is this is the start of a larger wastewater project. That PER we've got, the longer we keep putting off that big project at the treatment plant, the more expensive it's going to get. So in October, Jesse and I met with Adam Stone to kind of talk through how do we finance a project like this. And this is where I would just refer back to Adam's monthly update. And with that, the overall project cost, not including soft costs, is about $1.78 million. So of course, we would like to have this project designed and engineered properly and not just, yeah, we're going to take that out and we're going to just, figure it out ourselves. No, we need to have it properly done. And Westler has been a great help on that. But through that all, we kind of looked at what is this total project going to cost? How are we going to pay for it? What are our financing options? Or do we need to finance it? And so the suggestion that's kind of come back is knowing that we need a future project, which would probably call for a sewer rate discussion, of which we've not increased rates in over 20 years. How would be the best way to finance this? We could pay cash, but do we want to deplete our cash reserves? No. We could look at a BAN, which is a bond anticipation note, which basically means this is going to be monies borrowed in anticipation of a larger project, a bond, that then would replenish that, would pay off that BAN. So that is the recommendation from Adam Stone on how we could get that project done. In order for us to move forward, again, there's a proposal before you tonight to enter into a services agreement with Westler so that we can have this project designed and engineered. Another caveat, we've also, as I said, it's with the Brewer Legal Drain. We have reached out to the county surveyor's office as this would have to go within their easement. It would also have to go within the school's property. We've had initial discussions with the superintendent, but have not made any formal kind of requests or asks of the school corporation. But we did meet with the surveyor's office because we also know that there's something north of that called Whiteland Lake that on the school's property that floods when there is a heavy rain. It's probably getting ready to flood if it isn't flooding already with the snow melting and such. And there's issues on the other side of the trestle bridge, there on the other side of the railroad with that legal drain. That's not necessarily our problem to fix. But one of the questions we asked the county surveyor is, if we're excavating in this area, it only would make sense to go ahead and try to tackle a stormwater project for you all as well. I say a stormwater project, and I say for you all as well, not meaning we would pay for it. But we had a conversation with them just to kind of say, how much money do you have? They just recently did their study on the legal drain here. And then they reassessed every property that flows into that legal drain. They've only done 1 year of collections, so they don't have enough money to do their project. But I said, you figure out what it's going to cost, and maybe there's some negotiation we can kind of talk about. We're going to need we're definitely going to need at least an easement. But an easement doesn't mean that a future project of theirs, say we put something in the ground, and then later they come back and say, oh, now we need to do our project and we need you to move your project. If it's in an easement, it's at our cost. So we could ask for right of way or a permanent easement or something to where it would protect our infrastructure we're looking to do. Or could we work out a deal and we do this project together so we know where your infrastructure needs to go and where our infrastructure needs to go. And then again, it's the school's property, so we need their permission. So are we going to have to buy right of way or buy land, acquire land? But the two properties that this would help with the school corporation are the admin building and Whiteland Elementary. They've been known to back up. They sit low within that legal drain. They've been known to flood in certain areas. So we feel like this could be a win-win project. But first, we need to get our project going. That is our request tonight, is to move forward with Wessler. We would still like to work with the county surveyor's office to see if this is something we could kind of tackle both projects. We've asked them to get their engineer or potentially work with Wessler to get us a cost of infrastructure. What do you want to put in the ground? If you know where you want to put it, you guys pay for that part. Maybe we could just excavate at the same time, knock out both projects. I'm not the engineer, I'm not an excavator, so I know you have to have separation of the distance between the infrastructure, but that's kind of my introduction. I don't mean to steal anybody's thunder, but I'll let Jesse and then Derek speak, and then also Mark Granison is here from Stillwater. That this project is, or us not being able to take on that additional capacity is holding up his. Any questions for me before I sit down?
I'll wait till you're done.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Okay, so aside from the school backups that have happened in the past, that line is obviously deteriorated and old, the force main that comes from the lift station. So that's one big thing. We wanted to prevent backups at the school, and that's happened several times. Additionally, if this project were to go through, it would enable us to get sewer up to Emerson. The Howard property in particular, which has been annexed into the town, and according to the town ordinances, once we annex, we have so much time to get them water and sewer. So that's an additional thing that kind of helps us with. I think that's all I have additionally, Derek.
Can I ask, on the map, the green line is labeled Chadlow Relief. This line isn't here right now?
No, it comes down.
So where is the line?
So it goes from the lift station, and if you follow the yellow line
See, right here.
on down, there's
Just that.
down there that it dumps in.
This is it?
Yeah, this is it. This is where, right there by that field.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The lift station right there. So they want to make it gravity. That way you take, from what I'm gathering, is you take the pumps out and everything goes gravity. So no
Gravity,
more
so
power,
it
no
goes
more
this
nothing.
way.
So it goes this way. I just got some concerns about a few things, but I'll ask once we hear all of it. But yeah, that's where it goes now. This is where we'd like
So-
to go. And then they're gonna beef this one up, going all the way to the waste.
But this is already existing.
No, they're gonna abandon the 18, see?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about this little line here. I'm talking about this big, thick yellow.
The thick one's what they're proposing to do
Okay, so
too.
it's gonna be new too.
Yeah, everything's gonna be new through there on that.
Is that through the creek right there?
Yeah, you're bored through the creek. It
Okay.
happens every day.
Okay.
So the green line is what's being proposed as part of this project.
Right.
And on the south end of that, where the yellow line continues, there's an existing 18 that will right now stay in place. At some point in the future, would be replaced. So this exhibit was for more than just this project originally. But so now it would be a new 12-inch line, which is the green line that ties into an existing 18 that goes basically along.
But when you get to the big fat yellow line, how do you plan on doing that?
They're gonna tie into the current.
You know, how do you plan on doing that? Are you gonna be on both sides of the embankment and boring in, or are you gonna be down in the creek? I mean, is that gonna interfere with culvers?
They'll be tying into another. No,
You know what I'm saying?
it should not.
Yeah, so right now,
They're putting all this money into their site,
Absolutely.
and is it gonna disrupt their site, is what I'm saying.
We're away from that side.
So you actually get in the creek and do the sewer line.
No, there's already an existing manhole that we would tie into.
And when they platted, they gave us easements in preparation.
Okay, okay.
Because it's down, like, it's in their unbuildable part.
It's in the wetlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down,
Well, I just didn't know how far out that, that dirt was gonna come over the unbuildable part. Cause they're moving
all kinds.
dirt and rock and cement, yeah. So, all right. That was my
This
question.
is kind of the initial phase of what would be our infrastructure upgrade eventually, through the preliminary engineering.
Red line's here already.
For the wastewater.
So Jesse, so we have Mr. Addison here
Too.
going, propose a 12-inch going into a 30-inch and the red's an 8.
Is what they're doing. The red interceptor line.
Is the 12
Teams the interceptor.
gonna have enough capacity
And that shows you.
for future development?
So the red is
And-
proposed for future.
Okay, the red is proposed, so that's an
So
18
this isn't here either.
receptor, so the green on the Chadlow is only a 12-inch, so why are we going 12 instead of an 18 future? I mean, what benefits? I mean, more capacity
It would have been
to the north.
Okay, so
what you had.
So right now, there is a 12-inch that crosses the railroad to the east that then extends up to, I don't know how far it extends.
All the way to Tracy Road.
And so basically, it's just an extension of.
Okay.
There's not really a huge area beyond that 12-inch line, like the Chadlow lift station doesn't serve a area to where the 12-inch would be.
I guess my question is thinking 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future when this panel's gone,
Sure.
is the 12-inch adequate enough for 20, 30 years down the road for expansion and improvements and
Still
other?
here.
Well, in wastewater, bigger's not always better. Pipe. In wastewater, it's not, because if you get too big of a pipe, that's when you start separating the solids from the liquid. So that's why they do the calculations. Normally, when we go to an oversized pipe, it's because we don't have the percentage of fall. So we put a bigger pipe in it because it can run flatter through the ground and carry more of a volume. But sometimes the sewer bigger's not always
And
better.
it's because there's more
That's the
volume
big
out
thing.
here
Correct.
for this.
Right.
Yeah.
When we did the preliminary engineering, we looked at a pretty wide area of what is now vacant, but that could be developed.
Right.
And accounted for those flows in sizing the 12-inch.
I just want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and thinking ahead, not
Absolutely.
and not come back to another council saying, hey, we screwed up. We undersized our pipe and now we have to do it again because we've had history of that.
That's aggravating.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So this project cleans up this stuff and then makes Stillwater development smooth. Like, I mean, obviously we want that to be very successful.
Yep.
And so like this would handle any potential issues that they would run into then.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you.
Then what is your proposal
that
on
used to be-
financing is?
A big
Financing or cash or what do we?
water hole.
For tonight is to allow us to proceed with the Westler proposal, which is 130. Oh, sorry, 196. 196 of which, I'll let Derek explain that.
Yeah, so the design phase would be 110,000, and then assuming that it would go into bid sales, be another additional 20. And then in terms of easement acquisition, we tried to account for the worst case if we need to acquire easements from the school as well as a few adjacent properties. And so for getting those easements and legal descriptions and everything written up, we've accounted for 7 parcels. If there end up being less than 7, they're 3,000 a piece. So 7 at 3,000 is 21,000 in item number 2 there. And then the land acquisition phase, that would be actually doing the appraising, doing the buying, going to the property owners and getting the appraisals, doing inspections all the way through to reporting. Those that we have a sub consultant that we use for that, RW South, that does a lot of.
So our attorney couldn't do that?
There's a difference between
Yeah.
the person who's knocking on the door, talking to the property owners, and I would probably be involved to some extent in terms of the legal documentation.
But someone's got to go knock
But-
on every door.
And you don't want to do that?
You don't want me. You'd be paying a lot more to me than you would to RW South.
Been down this road.
Okay.
Okay. I've got some questions
Tim, I
now.
was gonna say, you had some questions. So fire away, bro.
One thing, and this is how I feel, I wouldn't accept an easement from the school unless it was private, period. Because if it's not private and they build something, they could say, move at your cost, then we're removing a water line or moving a sewer line. Here's my big thing. Most of them houses on the far side of that ditch is wood line. Okay? That's not the school's property. So my thought is why didn't we run it along that wood line? It'll be a little bit more affordable to go to the back of that property and come down and catch that farther manhole. Is what my curiosity. That way we don't involve ourselves with the school because they're not going to give us right away. They're just not going to do it. I don't see it. I mean, they're spending a lot of money. They need money too. We all know that. I don't see them just saying, here, take some right away. I hear it's going to cost us. We tried that route later on with the baseball fields and it didn't work out with
And
the school.
You never know from one administrator to the next.
There you go.
What's
So my
gonna happen?
point is have we researched going in them woods and buying individual off them houses back there? Do you see where I'm saying, Jesse? Right through here on this side, which will shorten the length of pipe being laid and bring it through the back here and then come out down here and meet that. You see what I'm saying? Because them are all just wooded lots anyway. Behind Billy, we'd have to buy one off of Billy and all that too. I get it. He needs some Christmas money. But I'm just saying, it's a thought.
I'd rather not have to
Keep
build
us
the
a-
school at all.
It's definitely something we could look into.
That's all I was asking, because when I'm sitting there looking at this plan, that's what, and we all know easements, we got them everywhere. We still take care of them, we still maintain them. Well, most of that's woods anyway. Most of it just lets it grow up too. But if we go through there, clean it up, make it nice, you never know. It benefits our residents versus the school. The residents will get a check instead of us giving a check to the school, which they make money too. So it's a win-win on both sides if we can come that route. It's just a thought, just a real quick look at it. I haven't really studied it that much. And maybe I get some time, I could swing by and maybe me and you could go over that and you could maybe enlighten me. There's something maybe I'm not catchy. But it looks like if we straighten that up, it's gonna save us on footage, save us on pipe and stuff like that.
I could look into it.
That's just one of my concerns. Now, when we take that out, we're gonna take pumps out. You're gonna, now, will that be open cut there on Fedlow? So you open cut, how deep is the manhole there?
It's only like
12,
less than 15.
yeah, I was gonna say 12 or 13 feet, I wanna say.
Okay, because
The whole line turns out to be between 10 and 15 feet deep.
okay, because we just did this in our area. We got rid of our lift stations right across from Gas America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we took that and run it down to gravity. We did the same thing. Unfortunately, ours was 20 foot deep. So yeah, it was a pain. So I understand doing that. It's nice to get rid of that because that's one less lift station you guys got to maintain. And with the power outage, trying to get generators to them, it is a good project to do. It's just, I think we need to do some different looks because I'd prefer really to stay off the school property. I mean, we might not be able to. We might not be able to get an easement off Billy. He might not sell us one. So we just have to deal with it that way. But it's just an option to look at having two ways we could go and see what way is going to save money on pipe material depth and see if it can help our residents out in getting them cash instead of giving the school money.
Absolutely.
And that was my big concern and all the manholes and stuff. Like I said, I'll keep my questions to a minimum and I'll just talk to you and Carmen about it. How's that? Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
sir. So basically the ask is to engage in an agreement, or do we need to get some more due diligence on the proposal?
Tim's suggestion, if we engage tonight with Wessler, that's where this design and engineering, that's where, like, right now, it's just colored lines on papers. If you approve the agreement tonight, then they can actually go out and, get the actual, start designing it.
So we're not approving the amount of money they have in the agreement.
Approving up the $196,000 today, but with the anticipation of the big project, which will have to be bid out, and then the bond, we're looking at a bond anticipation note, which then again, once we start this project, we need to, within 5 years, have an actual bond for the big wastewater plant. But we've known for the last 3-4 years that we need that project. So this is get ready to tie your bootstraps on. And, if we wait 5 years, then maybe it isn't the same folks sitting up here, but we've got to get moving on that. The bigger waste.
Cost is just going up, guys.
So again, this is just one of those, like, it was meant to be like an a la carte but it is something that we were able to talk with Derek and be able to do it as a standalone project, but knowing that the larger wastewater plant upgrade.
I like the ban idea.
I know you would.
And like the green line is just proposed, it's not in the steps.
I like the idea of being able to do it without going into a bond until we have to go into a bond.
And give us more of that time to kind of get this understanding of what we actually need. And the PER has been done for almost 3 years. And, and that PER is basically your plan on what we need. And
Right.
like Derek had said, it talks about our anticipated growth is to know what our future capacity. And we also, knowing with the wastewater treatment plant, right now we're not at the IDEM kind of alert level, but as we continue to grow, we're only going to get closer to that.
Sure, we're kissing it.
We were at 78%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're kissing pretty close to
Don't want them to come in and say, you're closed.
no more connections.
Yeah. So
And that's what's going to happen.
I agree.
Do you think this is definitely necessary, Jesse? Okay. Carmen?
a lift station replacement's $1 million. So, if this knocks out a lift station and puts something in the ground that we can,
And we don't
I
have,
like gravity. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just a better way to go if we can do it. Lift stations are out there. There's no doubt. If we can eliminate one, I think it's in the town's best interest. In my opinion, in my professionalism, I think it's the best decision that the town could make is to eliminate one lift station.
I agree.
I live in that addition and I see that light going off all the time. all the time. So, and I see the guys out there working on it and everything. It is a good project to eliminate one. It's going to save the town money in the long run.
Stephen has already reviewed, it's ready, it will give us the blessings to sign it. I can sign it and we can get moving on.
I make a motion to go ahead and move on with the
Chadlow relocation.
Chadlow Relief sewer project
And
with Westler, authorize Carmen,
Carmen to sign the contract.
sign the
correct?
contract.
I'll second it.
Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 4-0.
Thanks, Jesse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carmen,
Oh, I've-
stormwater waiver, lot 5.
They-
Oh, nobody.
Oh,
Here.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I am here to present a stormwater waiver request from the design engineer for a development at the northeast corner of the Gateway subdivision, which will be southwest of the Graham Road, Whiteland Road roundabout.
northeast corners.
It's the northeast corner of the subdivision. It's the southwest quadrant of the roundabout at
Okay.
Graham and Whiteland Road.
Okay.
Right now, it's just vacant land right north of what is Harbor.
That's so, is that what's zone C2, commercial, zone commercial?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we went through the development process back in April, with this, one of the things that stood out, to myself and our outside engineer with Commonwealth, was a small section. It doesn't exist right now, but there's going to be a new road that comes in to the Gateway subdivision for this development. What the problem lies with that is there is a pipe that goes underneath Whiteland Road currently right now. I don't know if everybody's familiar, in sections, right, on each side of the north and south end of Whiteland Road. The problem is when this new road comes in, that pipe is sitting square in the middle of it. So one of the requirements that we had for him is what we call a pork chop, right in, right out. And so with that road coming in, that pipe has to go somewhere. And so one of the problems that lies with that pipe is obviously we would have a connection point right there. What the request is going to be is that some of the standards aren't being met from our stormwater side, because when they bring in their storm side, they would have to put a structure over top of where that end section would be terminated at, right? Which would put a manhole in the travel lane of the eastbound portion of Whiteland Road. I don't know if anybody's drove on westbound Whiteland Road west of 31, where all of those sewer manholes are sitting right there and your tire just ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. What this would do, based off of the information from Commonwealth, is they said basically take 10 foot of the 12-inch RCP and attach it to the existing portion of the pipe. And then they would bring in manhole that would lie within the curb pork chop portion of it, which would bring that manhole out of the travel way. The problem with it is basically the minimum slope of 0.31% to maintain a minimum velocity of 2.5 feet per second. They wouldn't meet it because currently it's at 0.25. It's existing with the pipe. The other portion of it is the minimum cover over top of the pipe. Our standards require 2.5 feet when placed under pavement. This would be looking at a foot of pipe. Based off the information from Commonwealth, Commonwealth doesn't seem to have an issue with the 12 inches of cover over top of said pipe. So the request is to deviate from the standards because we wouldn't meet that 0.31% and the 2.5 feet over a roadway, which is in the Whiteland standards.
So this road that's going in is not going to have semis?
I can't say no, that it's not going to have semis over it. I mean, the portion that you're talking about, it's Whiteland Road. So yes, Whiteland Road is 1000%.
But I mean, I know when we did the waiver for the school, it was because the school just has school traffic.
Sure.
If you're gonna have semi-traffic and you only have a foot,
It's capable.
it's capable of
It's cap-
holding.
About 110%.
All right.
One of my recommendations would be that we backfill it with flowable.
With what?
Flowable fill
Oh, okay.
over top of it.
And why do we have a standard of 2 feet,
2.5 feet.
2.5 feet?
2.5 feet standard.
Yeah. Why do we have that if,
Tell you.
Remember, we had to adopt items, stormwater standards.
yes,
And that's
Yes.
interstate. That's interstate coverage is what we adopted, is what the interstate requires them to do over their pipe. That's why there's such a depth between them.
okay.
And I've seen pipe shallower. I'm not a big fan of 12-inch anymore. We've been running into a lot of issues with 12-inch, pushing it out of the factory so fast that it's cracking and stuff like that. I'm actually talking to people about raising our minimum to 15-inch pipe, and that's it. We won't put no more 12s in the ground. That's something you guys need to really consider when we are taking some of the lift off of it. That 12, and I'm sure you're aware that 12-inch, it cracks real easy. So that would be my main concern there. But I mean, it can't hold it. I mean, it will hold up to it.
So what is it Billy, you made a difference of standard fill and flowable. So what do you gain PSI with a flowable compared to, and then you got a 1.5 foot difference?
Well, what I base
Like
of instead of having like a granular backfill or something of that nature to where I have concrete, the strength of it, I don't have the numbers of what the strength difference is between the number 8s or number 53s compacted versus what it is versus flowable on top of my head. But that was one thing that I talked about with Director of Operations previously, was one thing that he wanted to see was the idea of putting flowable around the pipe as a backfill.
He's gonna chalk it with 8 still, because 8's, when he hits the ditch, they say it's 96% compacted when he hits a ditch, as long as it's maintained in a ditch. And flowable fill structure is a concrete, it's a diggable.
Right.
Flowable fill is what you'd require them to put in. It's just like concrete. You pour it wet, you can walk on it in 5 minutes. It's the most amazing stuff you'd ever see.
Okay.
So what other options do you have? It seems, I mean, if our standard is 2.5 feet, we're losing 1.5 feet. It seems like
It looks like
somewhat a
only-
concern for risk down the road.
the other option would be to correct the existing 12-inch storm pipe ran at 0.25%. We would need to open trench cut Whiteland Road, lower the pipe 1.5 feet, add 0.03 inches of fall to the run. I would highly go against cutting open that brand new road. Because in 2 other pieces of the new business, I'm getting ready to present to you of right-of-way standards, to where one of the ask is any new roads that are paved within the last 5 years, that there is no cuts on them. Because once we have a cut, I promise you, I have a fail point at that point in the road.
100%. I hate.
And I'm trying to avoid cutting open Whiteland Road.
And Richard, if I might add to this, Billy, sorry. So anytime that we do a excavation project and we're going to backfill, depending on the height, and Tim hit it also, we get away from the aggregates and we go into basically a concrete to add that strength and rigidity that you'll actually need, that you'll gain back with, instead of going with the granular because of the depth requirements. So you're substituting basically granular with concrete to make sure you have that strength and rigidity that is built into the system.
So and to that point, and correct me, I know nothing about what you guys are talking. I'm following, but so you would come back with a flowable type of concrete over the pipe instead of the asphalt type of concept. So you'd have 12 inches of pipe, or you'd have your 12-inch pipe and then 1 foot of concrete and then the road here.
You will basically envelop the entirety of the pipe with concrete. We've had to do it in multiple areas where you're running into the depth requirement.
Tim, what's your thoughts on that?
I have no problem with it. I've done it before. And the thing about what to do you guys require 11-inch cap on your open ditches? Okay, we require 11-inch cap. What they do is they backfill it up with flowable fill. They leave it down 11 inches from the top of the road. Then we put 11 inches of concrete in there, pin that in, and then we pave over the whole thing. That way you got that concrete separation is how we do it. And then when you pin it in, it keeps it from floating. But if you open cut roads, which just been paved, I promise you, within 2 years, you're gonna have problems with freeze and thaws and busting. The road will fail. There's no doubt. I've seen it personally. I mean, so I understand what Billy's saying. Yeah, it'd be nice to maintain the standard, but I understand the reason you don't want to, because then we're gonna be paving another road. And the bad thing about it, you go in my addition, they paved over concrete. And every road you could see a concrete crack in it. Because anywhere that concrete cracks, you're gonna see it in the pavement. So we all know concrete does two things, gets hard and cracked, plain and simple. And any crack what goes in that is gonna show up on that if you're not careful. So that's why we need to really make sure we do this correctly and not open cut a road. What's new?
And this recommendation for the approval, what came from Commonwealth, our outside review engineer, they had asked basically, hey, can we give the blessing to say that, hey, we would approve this from the outside engineer side of things? At that point, I was like, well, if we're deviating from what is our standards from the town of Whiteland, there's a process to it. The process is this, right? Is to come to you and you all make the decision as to whether or not you grant the waiver or not. Regardless of what our outside engineer recommends, doesn't change the fact that the process is still the process.
I appreciate you bringing it to us. I have to do the same thing. I'm not allowed to change the standard or an ordinance or anything. I have to go to the council in my area to ask for permission to vary from it. Or if a contractor wants to, they come in, and it's a good process to have, because then we can control, really make sure that it's going. But I agree with it personally, but
Does this letter from Commonwealth get stamped with the engineer seal as this is a suitable recommendation and alternative?
Yeah,
Is
so
it-
when we send all our comments back, they will send basically their official letterhead signed off by whoever their PE is. Typically, it's Dale Gick, that'll sign off on it and say, hey, all comments have been sufficed by our firm. We are good at that point. I will have that official letterhead every time that I have rounds of comments back from the developer and our side of things on the town's behalf.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Makes sense.
Did you understand all that?
I took notes, of course.
Okay.
sounds perfect. I'd like to make a motion to accept this stormwater waiver.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
I pass 4-0.
Thanks, Billy.
Good job.
Hey, you sit down, I'm getting ready to introduce you.
Go. Move on.
Oh, you're next?
I'm next.
Okay.
Next one.
You might as well stay up here and get them done.
Plugging them out, won't we? So the next order of business that I want to introduce to you all, that I initially thought would start as a BZA hearing. The problem is this isn't a deviation from development standards. The request is Mr. Young lives at 191 Walker Drive. It's in the Saddlebrook South subdivision. And what he's asking for is he wants to put a concrete patio. The problem with that is he has a 20-foot drainage and utility easement in his backyard. The back of his door is 8 feet to that drainage and utility easement. And so one of the problems with that is he is asking to put the patio within the drainage and utility easement by 8 feet. Right now, what he's proposing is a 16 by 40 concrete patio, which would pretty much be the length of the back of the house. But to Mr. Young's accord it's a single story ranch home. So the footprint of the house takes up a big portion of the lot. So all the square footage is on one story. There's not a whole lot of room to move outside of that. And to me, as you guys act as the Board of Public Works, since we don't have an actual Board of Public Works, that's one of your duties as the town council, is to hear any type of deviation from that. So that's what I'm presenting to you today is to allow the encroachment by 8 feet into the 20-foot drainage and utility easement for what we would deem roughly a 4-inch thick patio with 3 inches of stone. So as far as ground disturbance goes, we're talking about potentially a -7 or 7 inches below the grass grade to encroach into this 20-foot drainage and utility easement. One of the other caveats with Mr. Young's property, he butts up to one of the ponds in Saddlebrook. Okay, so when I look at, are you encroaching a drainage and utility easement? I'm trying to look at it in 5, 10, 20 years from now, what would potentially need to be utilized through that 20-foot drainage and utility easement? The one benefit Mr. Young has is I have plenty of green space between his property line, which would be very close to the top of bank for the pond, until I get to the water elevation of the pond. I mean, we're talking more than 25 feet of distance of green space through there. And with where the proximity of his property lays, there's only a few things that are going to come through there. Mainly, we're probably looking at maybe fiber internet or some type of telecom. Probably not looking at drainage of any sort, right? Because we have curb inlets, curb structures, all of that stuff still drains to this. I don't foresee us sitting here and coming back and saying, well, you know what, we need to add another curb inlet in here and we need to discharge it into the pond. Again, we're not going outside of the scope of the structure, so it's not like it's impeding on side yards. It's just the rear yard, and I don't know what's going to come through the rear yard at that point. And when we talk about the encroachment side of things, 99.9% of all utility providers bore their infrastructure in now. So it's not like we're doing an open trench. Again, we still have 12 feet of drainage and utility easement out there.
So there's no utilities at all running back there. It's just an easement.
Currently, there are not.
Didn't I just have to go to BZA to get in the utility easement? My shed?
For the setback.
Right, and that was
That
just
is
for the
BZA.
setback on.
Setback, not,
Oh,
not
so
for the
what I'm
easement.
curious of it is I went to that for the setback, but it was still utility and we didn't have to, but this guy don't have to go to BZA. I thought BZA had to prove anything being built in the utility right away, and I could be wrong.
From my understanding, I don't believe that putting something in a utility easement, I don't know what I would bring. I don't know what deviation from development standards based off of our zoning code of chapter 156 that I would be requesting a development standard.
But see, I went into easement with mine, and that's where I was told that by you that I had to go to BZA to get approval to go into the easement, because I did.
Setback.
But I was also in the easement too, and that's why I was curious why this is different. But you see what I'm saying? Because I'm curious why it's different, because if I had to go and get in the easement and the setback, because, you know, I did put it in the easement too, I would, and I'm just curious.
I would just say that it may have been that you should have been required to do both. Get it from the.
Correct. And that's what I'm asking.
And the fence.
Should I been?
Yeah, and that was one
I
thing.
don't know the particulars of that situation.
Yeah, I was just curious, should I have come to council or should I went to BZA on mine, or should I did both?
We had the conversation about it myself and the town manager.
Okay, okay.
So what I had prefaced it by saying is technically, because that's why you have a staff report, right? You have a staff report because I was going to introduce this to the BZA. And then I felt that what am I deviating from that the BZA technically rules on? And so that's what my fear was, is am I going to bring 5 members of the BZA for something that they necessarily shouldn't be, and this should go to a Board of Public Works. And since we don't have an official Board of Public Works, I thought the best case scenario would be to introduce it to you all as the council, since you have.
Makes sense.
Okay, I'm just curious. That's why I asked, because I'm like, how does that work? And just make sure that I'm doing, because, you know, with me doing mine, I want to make sure I follow to
Sure,
it.
yeah.
Because that way no one can say I did anything different. But that's why I was curious, like, I just kind of seem odd to me if BZA should accept this, but since it is a utility, we send it to them. We pushed it more through the encroachment, right? Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
Hey, Billy, quick question. So neighbors to the north, south, east, west, I mean, with 16 by 40 patio runoff when it rains, swell, no other issues with potentially flooding or getting into somebody else's.
Yeah, I don't foresee this small improvement of impervious surface truly, just because of the lay of the land with this butting up to the pond. It's not like we're in a subdivision portion that isn't backing up to the pond. Natural
This thing is like his push outs and then existing swell is gonna be disturbed. Just make sure that
Sure.
the homeowner has an obligation to make sure there's no water on adjacent properties, right?
Wouldn't it flow
Or
towards
it's
the
just-
pond anyway?
Yeah, it should.
It should naturally shed. It should shed.
Yeah,
But I mean, we've ran into.
I thought you said there was an elevation of the pond.
Huh?
There was an elevation. I took it as there was an elevation. So his property and an elevation, it goes down.
Down.
Yeah. So when I said top of bank, I mean the top of the bank, which is what I've always determined when you're talking about ponds. You have top of bank, you have toe is slope. That's kind of top of bank is your top elevation. Your toe is slope is when everything flattens out into the pond. Your water edge is always above your toe is slope. So everything sheds towards the east, towards that pond.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if there were any major concerns as far as water mitigation, stormwater runoff and stuff like that, obviously, I think you're well aware that, one, we take that very seriously. We will address that if we see any natural concerns that come up. I'm sure that I've had conversations with Mr. Young. He'd be more than happy to oblige any type of stormwater issues that we'd have.
Mr. Young's here.
Yes, he's right there.
Okay. So you're hearing this, right?
The
Concerns?
question,
Yeah.
the question I have is, and you know, I'm part of it too, but is like with BZA, they notify the 4 properties. If there's a concern or anything, everybody's aware of what's going on and stuff like that. Is that a concern of yours at all?
Yeah, because he's already notified everybody.
So, see, that's what I like. I like to do it because when I built my garage, I went around and knocked on every door in my neighborhood and said, "Hey, I'm building a garage. This is what I'm doing." And I let everybody know because it's just a common courtesy thing. So I do appreciate, and that's something like when I come in to build mine, I turned in everybody's signature and said, "Hey, I got everybody's signature. They agreed to this. No one had a problem with it. One concern was just keeping cars out of the way. Other than that, it was nice. I think
Did you
that's
notify your neighbors?
So, at 10, 11. Yeah, so we
Oh,
went through the.
okay. You went through the whole process.
I made him put a publication in Daily Journal. So we were ready to bring this to BZA, and then that's when I
Okay.
peeled it
I
back.
feel like that should be done anyways, even if you bring it to us.
Correct. I
agree.
disagree whatsoever. I mean, that way everybody knows what's kind of coming
Right.
down the pipeline. I have no problem that if that is the case, if somebody is requesting something of this nature, I still follow the same procedural steps
Okay.
as I would with a plan commission or a BZA.
You went through all the due
job.
diligence to make sure, but I appreciate that, Billy. I really do. That was good work.
Any other
Okay.
questions at all?
Nope.
So staff recommendation, did you guys read that?
Yeah.
So we just have to make a motion to approve.
Approve the requested waiver
Waiver.
with the conditions that are included in the staff report, which I wanted to go over those.
Yeah, and so that is one thing with the conditions that I put to be presented and approved by the town council. Also, the owner entering into an encroachment agreement with the town to be recorded in the owner's chain of title, similar to the attached sample. We have an easement encroachment document that was here before I came that I make anybody sign if they're anywhere encroaching within. And basically what that outlines for everybody, I'm very explicit with the folks that execute this is you're gonna take the risk. Typically, the only thing that do allow is fences, any permanent type of improvements, things of that nature. Then they come to you all and ask for the request. Fences are a little bit different, but I do make anybody that does want to encroach the easements with fencing, I make them enter into an agreement, which basically says, hey, I'm well aware that I'm placing something inside of a drainage or utility easement, falls on me as the homeowner to remove any said obstruction. Is if any work needs to happen within the easement, falls on me. I've got to remove any of the fencing that may get in the way, and it's on my dime. And the town's held indemnified. Yeah, and so that's an agreement that I require everybody that wants to approach into and an easement, that they execute that and that gets put into either the permit file that they have or gets put into my file cabinet. But typically those are only the times that those are executed or when someone's trying to pull a permit. But that does two things from a fence standpoint. One, it allows folks to bring their fences a little bit closer to their property line. There's a fun term called adverse possession that a lot of folks have had to deal with. My time as a surveyor, I've testified in court multiple times over adverse possession and property line disputes. This agreement allows folks to be able to execute that to where you can represent your property line the way you see fit. Because if in prior history of the town of Whiteland, you weren't allowed to encroach with fences, and that had some impact to some residents here in town.
It really does when you put it out of the easement, because you lose 7.5 to 10 feet of your yard. If you
It takes somebody 20 years of mowing it, they can
claim it, there you go. You're exactly right.
They will do it.
So we're missing a page, apparently.
Pages 1 through, or items through 1 through.
So
5.
you're, yeah, the last
Like a
page
Recommendation of,
starts at 6.
okay, 1 through 5.
You okay, put it in the record. Nice, that's what we normally do with like these year planning commissioners, he'll read it into the record. You can go make copies too, you are.
I just want to make sure there's nothing adverse. I mean, I guess we have the staff recommendation and that's really,
The missing part of the sample encroachment agreement.
Most likely.
it's items 1 through 5.
Items, yeah.
Staff report. If you look at it starts at 6.
See, the back page here starts at 6.
Oh, I've got 1 through 5. man.
Oh, you got it
It's
on.
important.
Of course you do.
It's even the one that mattered, I guess.
Over here.
He's the only one that matters.
Yeah.
You want to see it?
You don't get a
No, I'm
vote.
good. I'm good.
Copies of 1 through 5,
You just have it. You're the one.
but I said that.
Well, if
Our,
he's looked at it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
There would have been a red flag.
there's nothing
He
in
would
there
have called it.
that's a problem.
Okay.
We have a motion on the table.
We're at.
Motion, sure, absolutely.
That's what that-
I mean, I would like to move to approve encroachment plan for 191 Walker. Saddlebrook South.
Subject to the condition that the owner enter into an encroachment agreement with the town to be recorded in the owner's chain of title, similar to the, well, we don't have that attached, so we'll say.
moved.
To record it in the chain of title.
So moved.
Have a second.
I'll second.
Quick roll call, please.
all right, Tim Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 4-0.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's all right. 2026-02, is that still you? Good gosh. Dang.
So this is an introduction to amend the ordinance, which discusses the right of way. We've seen over the last course of a couple of years, certainly as my role as the acting building commissioner and I am on a pretty good streak of wanting to come in and start to beef up a lot of the things that we see on the construction side. And one of the main reasons that I'm looking at trying to amend this ordinance that talks about the right of way is I want to be able to give town of Whiteland staff the teeth to go after and say, wait, this is what our ordinance requires you to do. Instead of, it's very vague right now with chapter 95. So we've worked with Jacob Bone to help kind of draft this new revision to it. But again, this is just an introduction to the right-of-way ordinance amendment.
Well, what part's revised?
All of it,
Oh, all of it.
All of it is.
all of it.
So we had come to you all in about May of last year with the desire to mirror the city of Franklin's right of way permitting. And again, just to give us more teeth, we're having a lot of issues with boring through lines, sanitary laterals, and that's part of what we went through the whole discussion with Brightspeed and requiring them to do that prior to the project, as well as cable pollution and leaving things behind. Another thing that was mentioned just a little bit before this was when we had the C-store waiver, is we go out and we spend a bunch of money on these brand new roads. And then I'll pick on the utilities. It's usually Centerpoint needs to come out and then they need to do some gas work.
Oh,
And so then they cut open our brand new roads. If you go down Whiteland Road, you'll see that right in front of Allure where they just repaved it last spring. It already has holes in it, or not holes, but sections cut out of it. It would prevent them from being able to do that.
And they can do that without our permission?
They're supposed to get a right-of-way permit, but they can cut it. And we have protocol that says this is the size of, cut that you need to make and repair. It beefs that up as well to where it's not like, okay, you could do a 12 by 12, or I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it gives them like more, they're gonna have to do more. And then it also kind of like right now, we just don't have the time and energy we don't have the time and resources, when I say energy, to go out and do post inspections to make sure that, did they do the work properly? Did they leave their trash behind? So this allows us with some additional revenues. We've increased the permit fee from 100 to 250 to then hopefully have those resources then if we need to have another staff person or, pay extra people to come out and do post-construction inspections. It also kind of stops restoration. Like that's the other thing, is that during certain times of the year, we don't want them. You can't restore grass right now. So it's again, it just kind of gives us, they're not fully closed out until they have completed their project, similar to what we do with a building permit. So again, it just gives us more teeth. Knows what another community is currently doing, allows us to find them. Recently, Franklin had to fine a provider $10,000. Not saying we're out here to make money and to fine people, but you need more teeth.
and I agree with this. The only thing I would suggest is what I'm starting to do in our, is we make the contractor carry it with him. When we roll up to the job site, we could say, do you got your right of way permit? Instead of us having to call the office and stuff, they can hand it to you right then. And then you got it. Indianapolis was like that. We always had to carry. If we was working on the road and we didn't have it, we got booted off the road immediately. In the story. And they made us pave half a lane.
Yeah.
When we pothole something.
That is something that I do as well. Anytime that, granted, I do issue the right-of-way permits, right? I have a general idea. Our town isn't, not the city of Greenwood, city of Franklin, relatively still small. So I still know what open right-of-way permits that I have. The problem that typically what I end up seeing is drainage and utility easements throw me off further, right? There's no requirement for you to pull any type of permitting within a drainage utility easement, even though with this, there's only one way to access a drainage utility easement, that's through the right-of-way. But I do the same thing. I spot check contractors. Hey, you got your right-of-way permit. More times than not, typically they'll supply it. A lot of times I just ran into the same one out at Bob Glidden. They had a county permit because they were working on Paulahan on 400 North where they were in county's jurisdiction. Problem is their utilities crossed over into the town of Whiteland's jurisdiction. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here saying you guys aren't going, you can't do anything right now because I don't have a permit on file within the town of Whiteland.
But it also helps your guys out in the field, because they could stop and ask. It could be an extra set of eyes for you. I mean, and the more people that's involved, like that's how I do it in our area. If our area sees someone in a right of way or something, they can say, hey, do you got a right of way permit? Because it does save time. It gives more people's eyes on the jobs, because you can't be everywhere at one time.
That is the conversation that I've had with the public works workers. Is I've reached out to them. Steve with the water department does a really good job. When he gets 811 tickets, I make him send me the 811 tickets so that I can cross-reference. All right, why are you pulling an 811 ticket? Okay, hey, you need to pull a permit. Try to catch it ahead of time so that we avoid any issues. But we've made the same comments. Hey, guys that are going to be out in the area, if you see something, say something. That's kind of our motto of what we've kind of distinguished. I'll give credit to Carmen. That was something that came from her, and it's a great thing because we have so much time that we're physically in this building. I can't be out on site 24/7 trying to find guys. And so when there's already employees that are out doing stuff in the community, I say the same thing to them. If you see something, call me. Just give me a call. I can tell you right pretty quick. Say, yeah, I have a right-of-way permit there. We're good to go. Or, hey, thanks for the phone call. I'll be out there and I'll address the situation pretty soon.
I think it's great that you're using the staff to help you out because you can only keep up so much. I know I've been in your shoes. Yeah. So it's very nice that you are using the staff.
Hey, Billy, is there other opportunities of other ordinances that you touch base on? I can already tell.
Oh, yeah.
Smile.
Oh, yeah.
That you're potentially looking at for opportunities to put a little teeth into. Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't want to indulge too much on it. I certainly will probably be bringing something, I hope, to you next month as well for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So you're just saying this is just introduction. You don't want any kind of vote on it tonight? As a first reading?
As a first reading?
Do they have to?
Do they have?
You don't have to vote.
You know,
You can. You haven't had a chance to really digest it. I would suggest you just leave it at introduction, and at your next meeting, you can give final approval at that time.
okay,
So we can do the final at the next one.
Correct.
Well, I'm good with that.
okay.
Is there any specific areas that maybe we should brush up on since you made that comment?
I would have to defer to Billy on that.
Yes. So one of them, to look at, we have increased, the fee. I've also, the insurance side of things hasn't changed. We still require, basically $1 million, throughout the board, when it comes to bodily, liability. That stuff, I've got some notes here. One of the other things that we talked about, with the encroachment into the drainage and utility easement, notify property owners under 9504. The other thing is provide as-built.
Provide what?
As-built, so as-built drawings, that
What
helps.
letter is that?
Huh?
What letter is that on 95?
That is D in 9504.
Want to do it in GIS?
Yes. We did also one other thing, a couple other things that we talked about, the 5 years, any road that's been paved within 5 years, no cuts within that. We talked about restoration standards, which we don't even touch on truly in chapter 95, gives you a little bit more guidelines to it. The other thing that we looked at is the bonding side of things. Currently, we require a $5,000 surety bond. We jumped that up to $10,000. And then there's also a provision, just because we have something similar to the Brightspeed folks, to where they're going to have multiple sites within their development. Good case in point, CenterPoint, that does a lot of gas service stuff where they're constantly pulling right-of-way permits instead of having them pull a $5,000 surety for every single time. We would have a blanketed bond in the amount of $25,000, which is good, but we also require the COI. So if we deplenish the $25,000 surety bond, we still typically have $1 million insurance coverage right there that we can go after. And based off of conversations with Jacob Bowman, you would probably never get to that point to where you would deplenish that dollar amount for said right away.
Do you have any gas line in the road here?
Yep.
Okay, because that's something that you're gonna have to consider with this 5-year no cuts. There's gonna have to be a waiver in there for emergency service, because life matters, and if they're gonna cut it, they're gonna cut it and ask later. And like in our area and working with our other communities out here, if I have to cut a road, I'm allowed to cut it, but then the next day on an emergency service, I gotta come in and fill out all the paperwork and stuff like that. I mean, there's gonna have to be some give and take on that when it comes to life, because if it's blowing under the road, they need to cut it. I mean, let's be honest, we'll cut the road out for a water line, brand new if we have to. We hate to, but unfortunately, it's just something that you got to be prepared for with the gas company. They're a little more different. We're gonna blow the road up with water. I mean, let's be honest, it's gonna go everywhere. So yeah, it's part of life,
Mhm.
part of life. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. I guess
Done?
you're up.
He just asked.
So in your packets, I believe you'll have a proposal for a magnetic flow meter replacement for the wastewater treatment plant. These are our two influent magnetic flow meters. They measure the flow that comes into the plant every day. This is a requirement on our NPDES permit and it's an item requirement. The reason that I'm asking for this today is because the displays on the meters have went out and they do not make them anymore. They're too old that you can't replace them.
It is old.
Yeah, and so actually, when I had them calibrated last year, the guy told me he would not calibrate them again this year. So inevitably, the displays went out anyway, and so we're not getting flow calculations currently. We're estimating, but in lieu of that, these two meters, I would like to go ahead and purchase these and have them installed. The reason that I would like for them to install them is because there is calibration that goes along with it. These are very delicate instruments that measure very small amounts of flow. So they have to do circuitry and then connect the displays and calibrate them and so on and so forth.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Electro, right?
With that.
Electrical is extra or is
No,
it a
this-
plug and
I
play?
think this is so the displays and the meters come separate. And there's already electric run to where they're gonna be put in.
Okay.
We have meters there currently.
Terms, I don't think we can do net 30, just the way our system works. Probably need to look at that,
Okay,
Yeah, they need to know that. It's usually net 45.
45 to 60.
Yeah.
We're city, we'll pay it.
yeah, I'm sure they can adjust that.
It actually says, where does it say? It just says pricing's valid for 30. Oh,
Yeah,
30 payment terms.
okay.
it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Also warranty of the meter and craftsmanship warranty of the install. I didn't notice that. So just food for thought. You might check on some of those things.
Okay, I do know the meters come with a warranty from the factory. Now the installation warranty, I would have to revert back. They did do the installation on our return flow meters, post the tornado. So it would be the same company doing
And
it.
usually they'll give you like a calibration time frame so just stay on top of that if you don't mind.
Yep.
All I had. Thank you.
I called him today and asked the questions. I was trying to cut time at the meeting.
Nope, sorry.
You,
And I was.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of these mag meters replacements.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Brown,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Brad Godecker, and Rick.
Yes.
All right, pass 4-0.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jesse.
For this, I may need Jesse to kind of pop back up here, but real quick on my town manager report, obviously the hot topic that has been the case for the last few years is the tornado rebuild and where we are at with things. So we are, we specifically for the sewer plant, have met with a company to discuss possibly doing the rebuild as a build, operate, transfer. This was a process that was approved by you all post tornado to basically like, what is it actually going to cost? I mean, we're 3 years out from this tornado. So what insurance has given us and what we actually have in the bank to rebuild the facilities at the wastewater plant. We have a maintenance building that was completely taken out, as well as we have parts of the other buildings that need addressed too. So we are proposing, again, we passed a resolution, the council passed a resolution in 2023 to allow us to do what is called a BOT, a build, operate, transfer type project. Does not commit us. This is not a committing us in any way, but I just wanted to inform you, we're going to try this process. and we're doing what's called a request for qualifications. It's not an RFP, a request for proposal, it's an RFQ. It's basically putting it out there to contractors to say, this is what we think the project would look like, bringing in those key contractors to kind of build out the project and then put price points to it. It would go through somewhat of the same RFP process. We would have to publish it 2 times in the Daily Journal and then do a bid opening or a request for qualification. It's not a bid, it's not, but it doesn't commit us to a contractor. This is all, I'll say free. It's all a learning experience for us to try to do this, because the biggest thing and my biggest challenge that has been my conversations with the insurance company is a lot of us here wear multiple hats. The event, the incident caused a lot of damage to multiple Town of Whiteland buildings. And we just don't have the manpower to dedicate somebody just to do project management. And so we've got to get moving on these projects. We have one done, the fire department. We'll be kind of talking about, and I don't know if Armando's planning to speak of it, but we have a meeting later this week to talk about the street garage and the status of that you guys all kind of worked with, allowing us to use Commonwealth to help us project manage that project. But Armando and I have been moving forward on the street garage too, and where do we sit with that? But on the sewer plant and the buildings there, we'd like to move forward with the RFQ process. Again, doesn't commit us to anything. It's just allowing us to kind of go out there and see who could possibly work with. But I did just want to kind of update you on that process. And we've got the RFQ ready. I'll probably run it by Stephen just to make sure he's good with it before we send this off to the journal for publication and doing the public advertisement. So that was the main thing I wanted to highlight on the things I've been working on. I know I didn't get it in your packets, but it has been chaotic. Our team has been running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I do want to commend everybody that helped with the snow event that we had. Seen that much snow in the recent years. We were also we were also conserving to the best of our ability the salt that we had, because there was a shortage across the area from Cargill, our salt supplier. And so we were doing a mix with sand and salt. And again, not to steal Armando's thunder, but I just wanted to say that I appreciated everybody that had to go out on the public works side, the public safety side. We didn't have any super major incidents that, what you usually see when the roads get slick, people can't drive. I don't know if it's just because the roads weren't slick, but, or I don't know if it's only if the roads are slick, but, fire and police and the public works, they were out there. And of course, these things never happen, during the workday. These happen at night, on the weekends. And so they put in a lot of hours. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate everything they do. They're out there still kind of chucking away at getting the snow off of the road. And now that we had a little meltdown today, hopefully that's helped a lot. So that's all I have. Does anybody have questions?
I got a question for you. Why aren't we doing the town garage the same way?
We potentially are. So we had already started a conversation with First Onsite. So that's who our meeting is with on Thursday, to determine if that's who we want to move forward with.
Right, because I get it. You guys are swamped. There's no doubt. I mean, you got work to do. Let's get a general manager, someone to take care of these projects and get them done. I mean, the money's there. Everything's there. It's going to take all the restraint off of you and you and you and everybody. And then we're going to get a building done for these guys to have a break room. And the guys put the trucks in. We just spent $500,000 on a vac truck. I want it inside. I don't want it sitting outside.
So that's what normally the vac truck is at the sewer plant in that maintenance garage that we had. And so right now we have the public works guys going, they have a space indoors. They've been in the fire station, utilizing their break room, their conference room as kind of their meeting space at break rooms. And which, is working out. And then John is also working in there.
I get that.
But, I totally.
3 years.
Hey, you're not telling me anything I don't already know.
I know it. I just want it easy on you guys.
Make sure that you know that we know that it's important. It's important to all of us because, we've got people just everywhere and unfortunately,
I know, but you do, and that's why I say we need to just get someone here to take care of the project, get this project started, have it done. Billy's gonna do all the inspections on it, so it's not like we're not gonna have a hand in it. So Billy will be there checking it out, you guys be there checking it out. I think it's just a better way to go for the town and take some relief off of you guys, cause I know you guys are stressing out on it just as bad as I stress out on it.
One thing I would like to add is the RFQ is written broadly enough that it can include that.
And that's what I want to just see what we could do, because we're getting ready, we just spent a lot of money on some nice trucks. And vac trucks, they need to be inside. If they're not being used, they need to be inside. They need to be taken care of. And the best way to do that is get our building. We need to get the police pumps hooked up. We need to get all this stuff taken.
Dave, real quick, Billy has been kind of helping with getting the electrical. We've had some, again, some of it's been out of our control as far as getting power to where it needs to go and getting the right people in the room.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to come out January 23rd. Guess what?
Snow.
It's snow.
Yeah, I get it.
So he followed up with them and got a response today. They're supposed to be out later this week. When I say they, I mean REMC to energize the post where they were putting it. It was even like a debacle on where they wanted to put the post and where the light, and it was like, that is, anyways, I digress. And then from there, and Armando has already spoken with our fuel company to say, okay, once they were ready to come Friday, but we're like, well, we need to wait till we get get the electricity there. So we know we've got one little clip that, cause I have to fill up the same way.
I know.
I got one little clip that's like a little like T-Rex arm, and then I got another clip. So, and then the guys that are filling up the police cars and any of the fire apparatus in the middle of the night, it's just a pain.
It is a pain for them, and we need to just get it done. And I think this is the best way you're going, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Cause I know I'm the one who grabs the muffs, especially over the dirt in the yard, cause it's hard for us to find someone for dirt if we got a big pile in our yard. I mean, so I know I'm a big advocate on cleaning up the shop. We should make an example out of our place. We should be better than the next guy. That's just how I feel.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that a lot, Carmen and Jesse and Armando. I do. I appreciate you working on that.
Before.
Of course, nationwide, especially locally, we had a lot of schools with the protesting going on this last week. Concerned about, happy to report that we had 2 people on Friday that partook in that in our community, and that was it. The cold weather and the rain, I think, shortened that to about 2 hours, and then we didn't see it. So that was the end of that. Over the last, I guess it's about 4 months now, been working on SOPs, policies of the police department. Those were pushed out on February 2nd to all the officers. It's signed off on. They're in place now. I'd love to give you all a printed copy of it. It's 136 pages though. So trying to save a tree. If you'd like a copy of that, I'd be glad. I have it on a USB drive, or I can send it to email. If
You
you
put it on the shared drive. Town council shared drive.
I put it out there. I can make sure it's on the town council.
And if you have any questions, obviously you can see me about those. The last thing I really have to report, on January 16th, there was a vehicle pursuit involving our officer, Matt Kegaris, Franklin Police Department, Princess Lakes, and Johnson County Sheriff's Department. This pursuit started, well, I guess the call started coming out in Indianapolis, and the first agencies to pick it up were Franklin and Johnson County. Went down to just south of Franklin, where Johnson County, they've recently trained all their officers in the pit maneuver, if you're familiar with that. We're able to spin out the car to a ditch to stop this person, I guess speeding and running every red light, I guess, between Indianapolis and where they ended. At the conclusion of that pursuit, the driver got out of the car and slit his throat next to the car.
Yep.
Matt Kegaris was the first one there to, he's obviously one of our firefighter EMTs also. He's able to render first aid and save this guy's life right at the scene. Received appreciation from obviously the sheriff's department, everybody else there on scene, and the guy lived to see another day in the hospital. So
wow.
entered a letter into his file in recognition of that and his life-saving efforts. So I just want to make sure to bring that in front of the council. He's not working tonight, at least not here. Don't know if he's to the fire department or not, but just make sure everybody knows about that.
Very
That's all I
nice.
have tonight.
Congratulate him for us, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Think we're good. Thanks, Derek.
Right there's the tip. See the
Derek?
guy works for Melissa's company.
I will try and be short, but my list is a little bit longer tonight. So wanted to give you an update on the ladder truck and where that's at and everything. So I'm going to run through everything that's going on with the ladder truck currently. Happy to report that the aerial device has been repaired. It was repairable. The motor has also been repaired. In progress right now, just to keep you updated, the outriggers are being worked on, the front suspension, springs and kingpins are being worked on, pumps being rebuilt and repacked. The pump valves rebuild is being done. The generator service is being completed. Door seals are being replaced, cab tilt safety arm install, PTO rebuild, fuel tank replacement, cab lift system leak, full PM on the truck, and then certify the aerial, light upgrade for safety. So we're changing out the lights all to LEDs from halogens from 2002. So everything will be, in good working order when it comes back. Budget wise, I talked to Carmen about this, so I don't have the actual, is that the full?
That's the service, the estimate, and then that's what's involved.
Yep. So ballpark, it came in around $182,000 for everything, just so you know. Now that is not a final number. We're still waiting on the final numbers when it comes in. So it's not going to be above 182,000. It'll be 182,000 or less for everything. So we had budgeted for ladder repairs, 90,000. We'd also budgeted, we budgeted additional 200,000.
Yeah, it's additional other fire repairs.
Other fire repairs and reimbursements, an additional 200 for anything above and beyond, depending on what it came in at. So we're looking at staying at 182,000 for everything. And estimated return date back to service and on station is May 1st, with everything to be completed here soon. Any questions on that?
Yeah, what truck was this again that needed all these renovations? I mean,
Ladder truck.
Ladder truck?
Used ladder truck that was a stopgap to get us through for a couple of years, that we purchased for roughly $50,000.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? The Medic 271, like I talked about last time, is running out of Station 71 as of February 2nd. Everything's back over there working great. We got it all up and running, and it's now the busiest ambulance in Johnson County, or patient-wise. So it's running all over the place like crazy for the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Last thing, and I'm not trying to get outside my lane, but I do want to say, I want to finish by saying thank you to you guys. Richard, I don't want to see your head turn red again, but I want to thank the council for being frustrated with finances. It's becoming a huge problem for all the departments here at the town of Whiteland as well. So what I would say is, I would recommend bringing in Janet Alexander as well, because I know you guys, approved the training for the clerk treasurer and everything. So my recommendation to you, not stepping outside my lane, is that you bring Janet in as well, so that she can help train and get them up and going, basically, with everything that you guys are going to be meeting with and talking about with everybody. I would also ask that you would please draw a line in the sand on timing so that we can move forward with finances. Because like I said, it's becoming a huge problem for us to be able to do all that. So I appreciate all your guys' comments tonight. I do want to finish by saying, I think we should give her a huge kudos for everything that she's doing right now, because she is buried. And she's the only reason we're able to pay bills and get everything done. So that's a huge thank you, Kayla, for everything. And Carmen has been working on that too. So I can't thank them enough for everything they're doing. We wouldn't be paying bills and we'd be falling apart if it wasn't for them. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
I agree with you.
Did I really turn that red?
Yeah.
You are now.
Hope you do.
Armando?
I don't have anything aside from what Carmen added, unless y'all have specific questions of me, everything that she touched on.
Just touching base on what Tim said, we got to push on these buildings and stuff. We're spending a lot of money on trucks and back trucks. So, and I know you guys are swamped, but that's got to come.
No,
Some
absolutely.
urgency in 2026.
Nobody's sitting up there, believe me, feels the pain like we do.
I guarantee you guys feel it worse.
Everybody out there, and not only that, not even us, it's our guys that are feeling the pain, So the equipment, yes, I understand the money value that's in there, but safety and the security of our employees, you know, so.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Good job also to everybody that doing the snow plowing and
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank
Mr. Richards?
Want to give you a quick fire hydrant. Excuse me. We're moving forward. We've got 5 slotted for repairs within the next week or two. And thank you for meeting with me today. I'm gonna solve this issue. We ran into an issue with right away and ADA on Pinedale. None of those houses had auxiliary valves in to do it. So, working with Tim and Mike Holzer, our utility supply, we've come up with I think, a pretty good viable option to do that without encroaching on right away. We've only got 3 inches on the backside of the sidewalk. With the way they placed the main back in the 70s, it's dead center. We've got really no room to go. You're either right up against the curb on the road, and as the hydrants sit right now, they're already encroached 3 to 4 inches into the sidewalk. So we're gonna go, I believe, with the swivel 90, as you suggested.
Swing 90, yep.
Try and get those, and hopefully, we're gonna get those moving as soon as we start getting some more warmer weather here. So, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks for your efforts on that,
Thank you.
everyone's efforts. Jesse, you come back up, buddy?
I guess I can tell you one more thing.
Okay.
So currently, we're without heat in the press building. So I'm working with Torrance to, either get the heater fixed or possibly replace the heater. So that may be coming down the pipe. There were 2 times when it got super cold that I actually had, pipes bust, in January. So I had to replumb the press building twice this month or last month. But other than that, that's all I have.
Is this just a hang heater?
Huh?
Just a hanging, like a shop heating,
30 volt, yeah.
I just put 2 of them in at our shop. Yes, I did it. I had the guys help me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It saves money. We saved a ton of money doing it ourselves. I mean, we hung them and everything, run the gas line. I did all electrical to it. It saves a ton of money. Anything we could do in-house,
He's for
I'm a
hire.
big firm believer in doing it at the town here, as well as I'm for the other area. Huh? We didn't have to because we don't issue a furnace permit. See, we only issue an electric permit. Now, I did have the electric inspector come out and look at it, which was me. 'Cause I'm the commercial guy. No, yeah, we don't require and it's weird because people ask, I make the town, we're going through a process now. They're getting ready to add a thing in our street department in mezzanine. So they call me over, what do I need to do? You gotta go to state. So I make our office go through the same processes that we make our builders, because then maybe we might see something what could be tweaked and do a little better, move a little faster, because it takes a while to go through state. State holds you up in the store. State, we require state release on any commercial building. Is by law, we have to. So I make our office do it. Well, I don't make them, I ask them to, and they do. Now, yeah, of course, we waive the permit fees because it just does. But they do follow the same process. They go through the same inspections. They go through the same permitting and everything, because Addie has to write them up for me. And, you know, they go through the inspection. They call in for me to come out and inspect it. I mean, if we lead by example, and that's why I say here, we need to lead by example. If we do a project, we need to go to the state. We need to go, because I know in previous administrators, we never went to the state, and this office been remodeled way too much to not be correctly done right. And it actually holds us accountability to make us do the right material, the right way, the right fire safety, and it kind of keeps us up and up with everything. So I'm a firm believer in following the rules.
Good deal. Any comment from the council hall? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, tonight I thought it was very visible, the high level of competence amongst the town team right here. Like, I mean, listening to party after party come up and speak, teamwork. I mean, it was, I don't know, very noticeable to me. You know, people that are very passionate and excellent at their jobs and their careers. And so, I mean, I just like, I feel very fortunate that like we have lots of things happening, like big projects and building projects and things like that. And, you know, I'm impressed. I feel I'm glad to live here. And so like I feel very comfortable of the stuff that we have going on. And even, we have a new clerk treasurer and then like the support is happening. It's like, yeah, this is going to happen. It's going to get there. We have people hard. And so like I'm enthused that like I get to see this, which I would say most people do not get to see this level of cooperation across the board. So anyway, like lots of leaders and people working together. So I mean, hat tip to you all. I thought some of these things before over the course of years. I've been up here 7 years doing some of that, trying to watch and keep us, together, legal or whatever. I think we're in a fantastic spot with a lot of people and, broadly across the departments. Very good. So thank you very much.
They're good talent. Very
I've
good.
been here since 2015. We have come a long way. I'm not kidding. Employees didn't even have email addresses when I came. And I'm like, nope, that ain't happening.
I'd prefer. not
We
to
have come a
one now.
long way. I'm saying.
Take
to
mine away.
check stuff even.
I like getting a check in my hand.
Yeah.
You work all week, you get a check in your hand.
And you lose it.
No, we don't. I
Tonight.
hate direct deposits.
Tonight.
I'm verbally.
Yeah, any other comments?
No, I'm old school though. I just can't wait till I get rid of everything.
That's- no more comments.
There you go.
Thank
Public
you.
Comment at all? Okay with that.
What about the online?
Online, any comments at all? Any hands raised? Kayla, we're good? Okay, with that, we'll go ahead. Anything? That, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you.
Dang, he's still mad about the finances.